My name's Cherrie. I was born in England. I was baptised or christened as a child in the Church of England, and then became a Catholic when I was 12 and came out to Australia with my family when I was 14. Growing up Catholic, it was during the time of Latin masses, bells and smells, and I was completely immersed in that. And then when I was in my mid-20s, I fell out of love with that, and I moved away from the church and away from God. My life fell apart quite early on. My children were quite young. I married when I was 18. So by the time I was 25, I had 3 children. I divorced when I was in my early 30s. I went on to marry somebody else. That didn't work. Led a horrible existence. Got out of that marriage and then married again to a lovely person, but I didn't feel good enough, and I ended that relationship. So by the time I was 50, I'd been married 3 times and still had nothing in my life at that stage. I guess I was searching, but I didn't know I was searching. And I was prayed into the church by my family. My daughter found faith when she was in her teens, and she wanted to go to this cult, this Baptist church. And, they came and picked her up for youth group, and so she went off to that. They took me to services, they took me to their church, and I was been there, done that. Because church was a building, it was a structure, it was a regimented thing in my mind, and I didn't need that. I kept watching Songs of Praise on Sunday mornings, so as I say, I realised now there was this searching, and my daughter said, why don't you go into Wesley Mission? I live in Potts Point, so I live on the edge of the city, and I didn't even know where it was. You walk past the building. At any rate, one day I found myself walking into the building, don't know why, and Gordon Moyes was our minister at the time, and he did an altar call, which he did fairly frequently, and I found myself walking forward, and it was this hand at my back that was just pushing me forward. Couldn't tell you what was said, don't know why that altar call. There was nothing in that service that I could say, I remember that, but this hand pushed me forward. And I gave my life to Jesus then. When I told my daughter that I'd walked forward that night, she was in tears. And she told me then that they'd been praying for me. And she said, and Perth has been praying for you. Friends of ours in Perth have been praying for you. So it wasn't just them, it wasn't just their church, it was this wide circle of people. When I retired, I said, okay, God, you were patient, you waited for me. What do you want me to do now? I was speaking to Jean Finnegan, and she said, have I got something for you? She said, we're just starting this program. And of course, in my, what do you want me to do, God bit, it was conditional. Yeah, what do you want me to do, God? But I don't want to work with the homeless. But whatever you want me to do, but not that. And so Jean said, have I got this thing for you? She said, we're starting up this program and it will be for the homeless. And I went, no, definitely not. It's one thing I said I don't want to do. And she said, give me 3 months. So I had 9 months of training, and then we opened brand new Wesley Connect. And I worked in that, or volunteered in that area for several years. This year I became quite unwell. I went into hospital for a routine day procedure and aspirated under anaesthetic. I was in hospital for 2 months. 5 weeks of that in ICU, twice on ventilators, in comas, and God saved me. God saved me. I mean, I had a tremendous prayer group, the Wesley Church, my daughter's church, absolutely amazing. And I felt that when I was in ICU, I felt that. And I felt God saying, you're in my hand, you're mine. And I fought to get well. I was challenged because they didn't think I was going to make it. The doctors didn't think I was going to make it. And I went, but God, I know you've got a place for me, but I don't want to go yet. And I came through that. My problem now is why? Maybe this is part of it. Maybe this sharing is part of it. That I hope that by me speaking out, people who are praying for their family will be encouraged. That it took me until I was in my 50s, but don't give up, because those seeds are there. And to people themselves that don't know they're searching, or look around at the joy in the people you're talking to, and what is it they've got in their life that you haven't. And probably it's that experience of Jesus.